All right, Verizon time, 6 o'clock, time to start our March meeting of Kansas County Commission. Call the meeting to order. If you would stand, please. Commissioner Peters.
Our Father in heaven, we're so grateful for your love and your kindness and your grace towards us. We lift up the ones that are sick in our community, Lord. We especially lift up Mr. Russell and his wife. Pray that you would be with them as they go through this illness that they're experiencing. We pray that you'd be with our county. Pray that you'd be with us as we make decisions affecting our county, Lord, that you would give us the wisdom that we need. Thank you so much for your love. In your name we pray. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mike, if you would call the roll.
Here.
Karen Ashford.
Here.
Chris Singleton.
Here.
Curtis George.
Here.
Eddie Mears.
Here.
Brent Brandon.
Here.
Randy Gannon.
Here.
Crystal Alexander. Here. Tony Burnett.
Here.
All right, before we get started, I want everybody to know, and I gotta give a shout out or two. We're live streaming tonight, our meeting, and a lot of people involved in that. I want to thank the school system and their IT department for helping us get it put together. They've helped me a lot getting it up and going, and I'm just very thankful to them for that. Appreciate it so much, and it's been it's been quite a while getting it ready, but finally, by the grace of God, I hope it works. But I just wanted to thank all those involved. Judge Calvin, it's a joint venture between me and Judge Calvin. He's in on it too, so I want to thank him for taking part also. Next item on the agenda is number 5, approved change agenda. If it please the commission, I would like to add a CDBG resolution 2023-8. We've got Amanda Maynard here with us tonight, and she'll explain that if y'all will allow it to be added to it. And also been asked by Commissioner Singleton to add Sarah Martin to the agenda also. She wants to talk about the ball fields, if it please the commission.
I make a motion to add both those to the agenda.
Got a motion to add those to the agenda. If it please, well, go ahead.
Second.
Second, got a second. Well, you move to number 8. Would y'all, would the commission mind if we move it to 8B?
Let's get them on the agenda, then we'll place.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
All opposed?
Make a motion that both of these go under 8, number 8 in old business.
Okay.
Second.
Got a second? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
All opposed? Good. Motion to approve.
So moved.
Motion to approve, have a second?
Second.
Got a second? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
All opposed? Move to number 6, consent agenda. Approve meeting minutes February 2nd, 2023, and approve the notaries. The notaries being Christy Fisk and Aaron A. Toy.
Make a motion to approve.
Got a motion to approve, Commissioner Sanders, got a second?
Second.
Second, Commissioner Alexander. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
All opposed? Number 7, public comment period concerning agenda items, 15 minutes. is, anybody over here would like to talk? Yes, sir.
Good evening, members of the commission. William Freddie Curtis, Director of Cannon County Schools. I'd like to speak on behalf of Mr. Wade McMackins, who cannot be tonight, in regarding the wheel tax situation. Mr. McMackins states, and I quote, "Thank you for letting me address you tonight, even if not in person. I apologize for not being able to address you in person. I'd like to know that I am with my family tonight. I want to first tonight say that many of you have some connection to our school system here in Cannon County. Many of you have gone through our school system at some point. Some of you may have even worked for the school system here. Some of you have taken your time to serve on the Board of Education here in Cannon County. So having said that, I do not think anyone sitting here tonight has anything on their mind but what is best for the students of this county. I think we all should be in agreement on that this evening. What I would want to talk to you about tonight is our challenge to get our kids placed in a system that works best for them academically and financially. Last year, this body politic challenged us to work on our finances, which had been done by consolidating and restructuring our schools. We are only a few steps away to get into 3 schools, yet this body politic wants to take the only financial vehicle to provide the school board the means to pay for any capital projects going forward. We have no guarantees going forward of having the means of paying for those future needs and future projects if this tax does go away. I do not like any taxes, but of the 2 possible major revenue streams we have in this county, it looks to be the fairest of the 2, property tax being the other. I keep hearing this body speak on the intent of the public on having the $40 wheel tax to begin with, and then, I'm sorry, of the intent still isn't clear from most opinions I've heard during your meetings. The intent of the Board of Education going forward will also use the wheel tax for capital projects only. We're stuck where we are right now, not being able to provide for our kids with a middle school site or some other form or some other, that being stuck in our grammar school, which is always considered a temporary assignment. The addition on Cannon County Elementary was to provide a building in which all K through 5 could fit, with the outcome being a middle school site serving us with 3 schools, and which would give us the most economical footprint we could have in our system. I hope each of you will search your hearts tonight, and let's all work together to do what is best for our kids going forward. Thank you for your time and consideration on this matter, Mr. Wade McMackins. Thank you, members of the commission.
Thank you, sir. Anybody else? What about in there? Over here. Okay? All right. Well, then we'll close the public comment period. We go to number 8, old business, and guess we'll go to CDBG first if we could. Amanda?
Hello. Thank you for letting me address you. Thank you for adding that to the agenda. I really appreciate that. My fault. Sent it last week, but didn't realize the agenda had already went out. Of course, you know, it is that time of year that we apply for our CDBG Community Development Block Grant. We are eligible for $420,000 in what used to be the community livability category. They've kind of broadened that category, so now this is the health and safety category, and that's where your fire equipment, such as the air packs, would fall in. Like I said, the maximum of grant is $420,000, and then our match for Cannon County is 18%, which, if you break that down, is $138,293. Of course, you know, the deadline is April 14th, just about a month and a half away, which you think that's a long time, but it's really not when you start thinking about it.
Any questions?
This is going toward the air packs, right?
That is correct, yes. Of course, you know, the air packs that you have are very much outdated, expired.
And everybody knows that we've been held up on CDBG grants because of the time, water tower stuff.
You would break that up. Yes, that is correct. The state of Tennessee, the water tank, is actually complete. So the state of Tennessee let us close that out for Canyon County so that we can reapply, so that we can have eligibility this year. Of course, the city of Woodbury, the town of Woodbury, our pumps for that tank is not complete. You know as well as I do, the supply and demand right now, the parts we need to complete that pump station are not here, so we are not actually pumping water to the tank yet. But that's the holdup with that. But we are eligible, so our project is closed out.
Is this the same grant that Roy presented us last month?
Well, he, is it Tim Bell? He
Oh,
mentioned,
details.
okay, I was gonna say, he mentioned that, he had spoke to the commission, but
Well, what he presented last time was at 45,000.
Yes. $45,000 from the fire marshal cost, right?
he mentioned that he had spoke about this grant. But of course, you know, in order to apply for the CDBG, we have to pass a resolution to do that.
Any question?
What was gonna be our total match?
It is 138, 293. And of course, I was making a joke with Diana Neal, we might as well just round it up and make it even 140, but it's 138, 293. Very odd number there.
And if we match this, where will the money come from?
Use the ARP money. Or will we spend all of the money ourselves?
That is correct. Since this equipment is outdated, it's just, it is a needed item.
So we can use that. Having said that, I'll make a motion to approve resolution numbers 2023-8.
Second?
Got a motion to accept, a second? Any discussion? Call the roll.
Nathan Sanders, Karen Ashford,
Yes.
Chris Singleton,
Yes.
Curtis George,
Yes.
Eddie Mears,
Yes.
Brent Brandon,
Yes.
Randy Gannon,
Yes.
Crystal Alexander. Yes. Tony Burnett,
Yes.
9-4.
Thank you so much, man.
Thank you.
For coming. She's been all over the world today. Next, if it pleases the commission, we'll ask Sarah Martin if you would. Yeah,
And
please.
thank you guys, too, as well, for adding me to the agenda. I really appreciate it. I too tried to get added like the day after it went to print, so I really appreciate it. Y'all, become together. So I know of a lot of you, Nathan Sanders. I'm the president of the Canyon County Youth Baseball and Softball Association. We run the kids' baseball and softball recreational league here in Canyon County. I'm also, it is a nonprofit organization. This year we had 300 children sign up, so we see a lot of, we contribute to a lot of families in this community. All of us are volunteers, of course. I'm also on the newly reconvened Parks and Rec Committee. And one of our first orders of business within the new Parks and Rec Committee was to assess the county parks and the immediate needs of the county parks. I'm sure a lot of you have had kids play ball here, and as you know, the baseball fields have been, for the most part, maintained by the league over the years. We have done most of the upkeep every year and paid for that with the leagues, with donations and what have you. So I'm here today to bring to you all the attention the condition of the fencing. It is in around there's 3 fields. And the fences around 2 of the fields are, and I have some pictures actually that I took if anybody wants to see them. They're in very, very unsafe condition really at this point. From what I've been told, they have been there for 30 plus years with no replacing them. I don't understand why they've been overlooked as much as they have been, considering how much you know, how many children are there and how much it contributes to the community having the baseball program, you know, as far as even revenue. I know I work at DJ's, I'm also the manager there, and I know that we have to increase our staff by double during ball season, as do most other businesses in this community when baseball season is going on, you know. So it is a lot of children, a lot goes on down there. The county recently did replace a small section of the fence, which we're very grateful for. However, they and I guess they also replaced, the fence along behind the back of the library. Again, I don't know why the ball field fences were overlooked as they were, but they do need, it's become a great need at this point. I did, go ahead and obtain some quotes from 3 different fencing companies. I have those here too that I can give you guys, just to try to help out as a member of the Parks and Rec Committee and as the league president. You know, I went ahead and got those quotes so that we would have those. I feel that, you know, the property is owned by the county, so I wanted to bring this to you guys first as far as replacing those fences. So I don't know.
You have a quote?
Yes. So Master Fence is the one that did the small section already. This quote, I did not have them come back out yet to do a quote on, the fields are numbered. So you have field 2 is at the front, 3 and 4 are the back 2 fields. The small section that they replaced already is on field 3. This quote is for the remainder of field 3. I am assuming it would be about the same for field 4 as well. The other 2 fencing companies did quote both fields, so I have those. I got Ace out of McMinnville and Coffee County Fencing out of Manchester were the other 2 that I brought in.
Is that just for the fencing around the outfield?
Yes.
Did it have anything to do with the backstop?
No.
Raising that up any higher?
No, we are not gonna try to replace those at this time because it would be a lot more expense. And also I would like to see about in the future, replacing those with the one like they did at the high school.
The netting?
Yes, the straight up, you know, because they're still functionable, the backstops are. There's a couple of minor repairs that I want to have done. But the outfield fencing, I mean, like I said, I mean, y'all can look at these if you want. There's places where you have breaking, I mean, there is fencing that is literally like, it's in very, these are broken. Some of these posts are actually broken. If kids were to like, cut their leg wide open on that. I mean, at this point, I feel like it is a safety issue. I feel like it's been overlooked for a long time. And I don't know why. Like I said, I've only been president of the league for 3 years. And I know the previous one really didn't make a lot of attempts to involve the county. And I don't really know why that aspect either, because it is the county's property, it belongs to the county. And like I said, we do a lot of, every year we buy $1,500 worth of dirt that we put on the field. I paid to have all the buildings down there repainted, the league did. We do a lot, and we do not mind doing a lot down there to upkeep. That's completely okay with us because we use the, park, and we keep the fields played on and nice though, so at this point, as a nonprofit, the expense of replacing the fences is just, I don't feel the league's responsibility as much as the county's because it's their property, so.
Any questions?
Yeah,
Yes, sir. Commissioner Gandy?
the fields were built through donations. I know because one of them down there, I was a part of putting it up. Fencing and all was bought and purchased through donations. Yes, it is county property. But what happened was the county agreed to let these associations put a baseball field and stuff on it, but it was up to that association for the upkeep.
And it has been, you know, like I said.
Yeah, it
we
is
have-
county
yeah.
property, but
Had-
it's up to the league, their responsibility for upkeep. How did these fences get in this shape?
I know, that's what I wonder. I guess of very many years of use.
Now, this looks like, abuse, not use.
Right. Well, from what I was told as well, someone that looked at them said that they were not really properly put up in the first place, you know, and
Looks like a lot of those have been hit with a lawnmower.
lawnmower, yes, yeah, that's what I said too, those posts that are broken off at the bottom.
Anybody else got any questions? Yes, Commissioner Taylor.
Sarah, are you requesting that something be done for this upcoming spring season?
Ideally, I would love for it to be, yes. Just, you know, like I said, mainly for the safety, but our season starts April 1st. So that literally gives us the rest of March to get something done. I don't care at all. Like I got the estimates because I don't mind at all to help in whatever way I can assist, you know, and the league. When I say I mean the league, you know, we do not mind at all in whatever way we can to, like you said, you know, possibly donations for, you know, a portion or whatever we can do, you know.
You mentioned using nonprofit, 501(c)(3). Y'all have a fund balance
What do you mean by that?
in the bank, money in the bank?
Yes, we
How
do.
much would that be?
Well, right now, we just got all of our, well, okay. So it's up right now because we just started our signups, right? So everyone's paid their registrations, everyone's, you know, we have sponsors for each team. They've all paid, I think it's about 28,000 right now. And of course, I'm about to, well, I have it right here. I'm about to spend $1,700 on a load of dirt, $1,200 on a contractor to spread the dirt, $3,900 for the season for infill dragging. So, and then about $10,000 for uniforms. So a lot of that, it fluctuates,
Yeah, okay.
as far as our expenses down there, just to run the program, you know.
So 28,000, which, yeah.
Yes, about, yeah.
Anyone else?
How much money do you pull in every year off the concession?
Concessions, basically cover the cost of like umpires and in itself.
About how much is it?
A year or a season, is that what you're saying? I'd have to figure that out because, like I said, basically, it pays for itself in umpires. So I would have to figure that out. We pay about $1,500 a week in umpire fees. Really, actually, kind of expensive. Kind of crazy.
Your
Right.
place.
Yeah.
What you make in concession.
Yes, yeah.
Maybe a little bit more, but
And then product, of course, is about, $600 to $700 a week for the food. We do quite a bit of sales through there. It literally pays for itself, and umpires, it helps with that, so.
Anyone else?
Yeah, have you thought about, having, contributions in the form of raffle tickets? I know Coffee County's recently had one since their season, same as yours, and they have done real well. I mean, real well.
Okay. As far as to raise money for the.
Yeah.
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 Okay.
You know, you pay like $10 for each
Mhm.
ticket, on the chance to win, whatever. I think in their case, it was money.
Mhm.
The players that sells the most tickets gets a little reward out of that, but I mean, they have done real well. I mean, real well.
Okay. And yes, like I said, the league absolutely does not mind at all doing whatever we can to contribute to and to raise money and to, get donations for these fields, for the fences. I just felt like, I mean, and that's what we do for everything, because that's how we have to run the league. I just wanted to at least attempt to bring it to the county, since it is county-owned property. It is a permanent improvement to the property. If the league were to dissolve in 2 years, we can't take our fences with us. It's something that is a permanent improvement to the actual property, is kind of the way,
you
and
had
it's
Can't take your
a
fences, but
large
we-
investment.
We
Yeah.
can't take your fences, but we don't charge you anything to use
Right.
the field either.
Right, yes. And that's why we don't mind putting money
Commissioner
into it
Brown.
every year, for sure.
Do we have an agreement, any written resolutions or anything stating who's supposed to take care of the property or?
And I'm,
It'll go back to the seventies.
Did we not, Greg, a few years ago, put new lights up down there?
we put some poles up,
Suppose.
yeah.
On the recreation building.
So this is new
Must have been before me.
Is this new
It was.
Yes,
gave us?
Yes.
New fences?
yes. They're
It's
beyond
not-
repair.
Not, they are beyond.
They're beyond repair. There's some small, there's some parts, like he was asking about the backstop. There are some parts on the backstop that I have figured in on one of those quotes to be repaired. But the rest of it, I mean, they're literally, the poles are broken and the fencing is mangled and the majority of it. Now, the one guy, I really liked the guy from the, Coffee County fencing because he like walked with me around the perimeter and we discussed like maybe saving some poles and, you know, what could be salvaged that could be reused and, he was definitely willing to do that, you know, use what he could to,
Anyone else?
How much was your load bid, 9,000 something?
and that was for one field, yes.
Is that just for one field?
That was just for
So
one.
each one of those is a field. So what are you asking us for?
Are the other two
Amount
quotes
on
for
all
both
three?
fields?
Yes, yes.
Sorry, so the
They
eight,
are a little, and they're a little different, and I didn't realize the guys were doing that until they sent them to me. Ace Fence Company is just to install new fencing, that is it, for two fields,
two fields.
which is fine. I have a group of volunteers that are completely, happy and willing to tear down the old fences. I already have, whatever way that we can save money, we don't need to pay somebody to take them down, we can do that ourselves, for sure. Coffee County Fencing, his quote includes demo and removal of the old
And that's,
fencing.
and that's for two fields?
Yes. This is Coffee County, yeah.
How much money are you asking for?
Basically, as much as the county is willing to invest. And then we will do what we can to raise the rest.
You told them how much, Brenda?
Huh?
You told them how much?
No, I was just writing down, fields.
So you're looking for a donation?
Yes,
Could we ask to put her on the, budget committee
yeah,
for the next, I don't know, do you want, Diane, I don't know, well, what is on the agenda for?
Probably not March that well. I mean, we can.
Yeah.
But we've got, what,
Probably to cover. I just don't think, I mean, even if we got something, I don't think we could ever get it done.
Before it starts.
No.
yes. Yeah, Ms. Payne.
The question is, Hickman, is this, typically handled, a budget amendment as to the chair donation that they, as part of each year's budget?
I don't recall us doing anything like this.
There is a charitable, donation aspect to each
But
budget
that's
that
always
we have.
approved during the budget process.
That's all done during the budget process. However, a budget amendment could amend that amount that it, in direction.
What is the amount? Like nobody was saying that.
No, these two different ones, you got one that's, 12,164 and one is 9,500.
And the 9,500 for one field.
Yes. Yeah, the one guy, the 12,000 was actually for both fields, and like I said, that is just new fencing. That is not to, so there were quite a big difference in those two quotes, so I was a little,
But Ms. Hickman, as far as any amount that the contribute, could that be handled by a budget amendment? That charitable donation.
I mean,
Not sure we would do it that way. We would probably contract it ourselves the other way. It's really our property, not their property, and it would be our contractor, not their contractor relationship, potentially.
I believe that's correct, and since it's our property, we need to have a contract ourselves. Thank you, Mr. President.
Anyone else? What do you want to do?
I say,
Any action?
I mean, for me, I would like to see it go to the budget committee and hash it out and figure out. You know,
Something needs to be done over there. And with it being a county property, I feel like even though there was some agreement, you know, years and years ago, that's a reflection on us as a commission, as a county, with the amount of county residents and out-of-county residents that go to that ballpark. You know, that's a reflection on our county, how people are gonna see us and how we take care of, you know, things for the kids of the county and the rec league and everything about that park over there.
Would the commission be against sending it to the budget committee?
Move that this be sent to the budget committee.
Second.
Got a motion for it to be sent to the budget committee, got a second? Any discussion? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you. Next, pool update, I have no updates, it's been bid out. The bids are not due yet. I think the bids come in when?
Full bid is next, hang on. Thursday, March 9th.
Next Thursday, March 9th. Anybody got anything?
I do. I'd like
Yes, sir.
to thank Mr. Singleton. In
Yes.
this process, bringing up, rather than just having that thing sit, if everything is filled in and stuff, just having it sit as a parking lot, bringing up about at least putting some playground equipment, and stuff like that.
Yes,
There. I really appreciate that.
yes.
It's a good idea.
Yes, I want to point into the commission also that, Neil checked with our insurance company. I know there was some question about the equipment that school board had allowed me to have, was gonna allow me to have about it and insurance. The insurance said it was no problem. Is that right, Neil?
We need a motion for you to, on a committee for the future of that property. Could we have a committee on to oversee the future of that and ideas of what we can do with it?
On the vote? Can
Does that
we?
need to be a
Can we do that whenever we get that them bids, or you wanna do it? We can do whatever you want.
I
Y'all,
think there's some energy about that right now. I know it is for me. I want to see that go back to the kids somehow. However, and I think you've already got stuff. You know, I think it's good to start, I mean, whatever, but we need to, you know, there's a lot of energy there. I don't want that to pass.
Would or could that not go under Parks and Recreation Committee? Would it, or should we have a separate committee?
I'm sure it could. I just,
More separate?
it doesn't matter, whatever the commission decides. I just want us to get on it. Chris had that wonderful idea. I'm like, Randy, it's a great idea, and I told him when he
Parks
left
and
it.
Recreation.
why don't we put it under Parks and Rec? If that's okay with everybody. We'll put it under Parks and Rec. Matter of fact, Commissioner Gann, tell me if I'm wrong, but we had a pool committee, but it's about gone.
Yeah, as far as I know, it's dissolved. We were talking one night, I had Mr. Esther Parker come, and he got to kind of give him numbers, and they had presented numbers, and they pretty well match what you handed out, or told us about, and then handed out tonight, as far as what it brings in, revenue from 2004 to 2018
Yes, sir.
was $81,410. Expenditures on it were $628,033. So that's a difference of $546,623, a little over $500,000.
Yes, sir. Yes.
From 2004 to 2018, that was lost.
Would this please the commission, Commissioner Burnett, would it please the commission, I know that you was wanting that, and to, get the bids in and call a meeting of the Parks and Rec together? Does that please the commission?
I'm good with it.
We'll do I think that's good. All right, we'll move to 9. Is to amend the county zoning resolution, such amendment to repeal Article 12, flood hazard reduction in compliance with the National Flood Insurance Program, NFIP, and replace it with Article 12, flood hazard reduction in compliance with the National Flood Insurance Program, NFIP, which incorporates by reference all provisions and restrictions of the most recent county flood damage prevention resolution as enacted by the County Board of Commissioners. Now, does anybody got any questions about that? I'm sure you probably do.
With this, my understanding of this was the first Article 12 flood hazard reduction in compliance with the National Flood Insurance Program, that is the old, what we currently have. Federal government, my understanding, has came up with something new, which we do have to follow the guidelines in order to keep our flood insurance, or so that people can write flood insurance through them. That is the second Article 12. We're just taking an old one and replacing it with a current update.
Yes, sir. With a standalone.
Is that right?
It's right in that we're amending it to do that. The new regulation would be a standalone resolution and will be referred to by this amendment by reference.
It'll be referenced through our
Logic is,
ordinance.
logic is you can change a resolution a lot easier than amend the zoning resolution.
Yes.
And referring to, by making it a reference to the zoning resolution, more manageable.
That all right? Anybody else? I'll entertain a motion.
Make a motion to repeal current Article 12 flood hazard reduction in compliance with the National Flood Insurance Program, which is the NFIP, and replace it with the current or the new Article 12 flood hazard reduction in compliance with the National Flood Insurance Program.
Exactly. Thank you, Commissioner again. Got a second. Commissioner Brandon, by the way, this is sent up to us through the planning commission,
Yes.
so they recommended it to us. I tell you, let's call the roll on that one.
Yes, please.
Nathan Sanders,
Aye.
Karen Ashford,
Yes.
Chris Singleton,
Yes.
Curtis George,
Yes.
Eddie Mears,
Yes.
Brent Brandon,
Yes.
Randy Gaines,
Yes.
Crystal Alexander,
Yes.
Tony Burnett.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Yes, sir, thank you. Brings us to number 10 is discussion approve resolution 2023-6 for ballot referendum amending wheel tax.
I have a floor.
Yes, sir.
Hey, Jonathan, on the original one here, that was July the 17th of 99, in talking with a former commissioner, Mr. Corey Davenport today, and kind of getting this, I can't remember if this was ever discussed, but it was passed that day, July the 17th of 99. And then also another amendment, there was amended the same day, that made a motion to, I think this is tack on section 8, where it would expire in 25 years. So there was a limit put on this, but did that limit have to be sent in with that resolution? Because the limit, the 25 years.
When you say sent in, sent in,
Yes.
sent in here,
So it was supposed to be there also.
it did not appear.
Oh, no. But it is in the minutes and all, where that they did put a 25-year limit on. discussed.
See your minutes attached.
That is the, this is the road, but,
That is the minutes back then. They didn't do like a summary always, but that's all.
And there is no section 8 attached.
Yeah, it's in there.
section 8, I think we were referring to section 8.
Well, section. Is there a minute section 8?
Probably,
Because I could not find
probably
it.
back then, they didn't do that. Like with the minutes.
Because when I based mine out on the section 8. On for evidence of debt.
Well, with that, amendment to it, right after that motion, or after they passed it, they amended it.
It does appear that
It
there was
does
something
show
voted on,
25-year,
and it certainly says, made a motion to take on section 8 where it would expire in 25 years. But that was not included in section 8 of
to them.
to the election.
With what the commission is that,
What, since you have
is that.
conditioned upon the, this is what appeared on the ballot. Conditioned upon the approval by the voters of Canton County, Tennessee, the Canton County Legislative Body voted to place a $40 meal tax. In addition to the existing $10. This tax increase is temporary in duration and will expire on payment of all debts incurred by Canton County renovation or expansion of the Canton County Public Schools. It's passed by the voters, the wheel tax increase will take effect January 1st, 2000. Shall the resolution, it's the question, shall the resolution adopting a temporary $40 annual wheel tax increase and be levied on motor vehicles or so for again, what went on the ballot was in duration and will expire, is temporary in duration and will expire on payment of all debts incurred by Canton County and finance, the building renovation. Not in specific schools, not in specific projects. All debt.
All that. So really, that amendment is new. But it did show that the commission,
It
that they had a limit on,
It seems to show an intent
on the details.
of a limit of 25.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry. That's my first.
Yeah, all right, well, that's no problem. I think that's the reason Mr. Dearborn gave it. 'Cause I couldn't remember that we had discussed this back with the prior. So really, we're still looking at having to do this.
You still have to amend, or you still have to, even though there wasn't intent.
The intent really right now, years later, doesn't count. But that does show, for me, it shows proof that there was a 25-year limit put on this. Now, we could get it paid off quicker, fine, but, and I understand what Mr. Curtis, with the letter that he wrote or read from Mr. McMacken, but the schools, again, schools went out, they lobbied for this resolution to levy this $40 tax so that they could build Woodbury Grammar School and build on to other schools. And that showed in the 25 years tells me that, yeah, there was a limit. Maybe it didn't show up where it needed to at that time. But in order to, I'm thinking, but correct me if I'm speaking wrong, To correct that, this resolution that Jonathan has that I've given y'all to ask to talk to your constituents and stuff, it would be, now therefore be it resolved that the Cannon County Election Commission shall place upon the ballot the next scheduled election, a referendum which offers a yes or no response to the following. Should the $40 privilege or wheel tax levy on each required vehicle in Cannon County cease to be collected upon payment in full of the debt incurred by only the original public school capital improvement sought to be funded by the 1999 County Commission by resolution on July the 17th, 1999, and subject ballot informative formally approved by the voters of Cannon County on September the 19th, 1999. The wording there, look at that. Do you feel in that a yes on this? A yes or no at the bottom? Yes, it would cease. No, it would continue. You see anything confusing in what I just read that possibly vote on tonight that would be confusing to everyone else in the county?
I'd like to speak to this if I could.
Yes, sir.
Refer the floor back to you.
Thank you, sir. Commissioner Mears?
Really and truly, we don't have to do anything. Because, I mean, it's until June of 2026. What I'd like to see is I'd like to see us just let the wheel tax sunset as it's supposed to do. In doing that, if we're approved to do that, then what I would like to do is this commission, as soon as that debt is paid off, that we start adopt a new wheel tax of $40, and that $40 wheel tax will be used to build a new jail. If we can legally do that, then when the debt is paid off for building the new criminal justice center, jail, or whatever, then that monies from the wheel tax will have an independent line in the budget. And that money will go in that line, and future commissioners can use that money for whatever needs arise in the county.
Thank you, sir. Anybody else? Yes.
I have a couple of questions. If this was to pass and the voters were to vote against the wheel tax, and this is over $700,000 that would be taken away from the children.
No, ma'am, it's not taken away from the children, it's toward a debt. Everybody keeps thinking you're gonna lose
But-
money, you're not, you're paying a debt.
Go ahead, Commissioner Alexander.
Okay, well, however you want to say. On top of that, it's another issue that's coming into play because now the state is saying that they are going to refuse federal funds from, and then that's more money that's going to be taken away. So where is funding going to come from if we're not going to help? Because it's always going to be debt, Randy. If things are going to have to be repaired, if things are going to be expanded, that's got to be expanded on, it's always going to be there.
Can I speak?
Yes, yes, sir.
I'll speak to that. We have overfunded the school last year, what was it, 12 cents, which was around $480,000. They've been relieved not to have to pay back $250,000 each year toward this debt. I'm not correct me if I'm wrong on this, say if each penny is worth 27,000 and they bring in 20,100, they get that extra from the 27,100. You close down 3 schools. Not heard the first. I've asked, give me a total. How much you have saved? Well, we don't know. You shut them down and you don't know how much money you're gonna save. Yes, there'll always be debt. There'll be debt to pay. That's part of life. But how you control or spend your money, I've not seen, I've been given numbers or told numbers for that. But yeah, I agree with you. There will be debt. But we had a lady sit right there and just chew us out because we wasn't funding schools. We're funding schools over what we're supposed to.
Well, that just technically just started just a few years ago.
4. So say you go 4, that's $1 million right there.
I'll have to give floor to, or recognize Commissioner Ashford.
I agree with what he said about, let's don't do anything yet. We've got time. We don't have to do it right now for this election. I know we've talked about it. We're thinking about it. It's a hard decision. It's a hard decision. We have to educate our children. I don't know if we're overspending. I feel like we probably are at times, and things maybe, I don't know what we've saved by closing 3 schools. I'd like to see those numbers if we've saved anything. I'd like to see those numbers.
Nobody's told me.
But we're looking at a jail, we're looking at building more schools. We are going to have debt that we're gonna have to pay. We have to educate our children. And I'll die in this county wanting to educate my children and grandchildren. I mean, that's our lifeline. That's what's gonna be left when we're gone.
They're gonna be sitting right here.
Yes. So let's take time to think about this before we make a decision.
Thank you. Commissioner Singleton.
Thank you, Mr. Mitchell. At our last meeting, Mr. Gannon asked each of us to, speak to our constituents, and this has been ongoing. I think maybe our first meeting of this new commission on the agenda. But since last month, I have talked to, citizens of the district. I've talked to, board members that were on the school board at the time, and some of the previous commissioners. And I feel like the issue that we're faced with right now is that we need to make sure that the will of the people, when this was voted on, is carried out. And I have heard pretty much unanimously that they voted for the $40. Let me back up. It was the intent of the director of schools and the school board that they only wanted it on there as long as this debt was there. They did not want it on there for anything else. And that's what they went out and asked the people to do, to vote for it so that Woodbury Grammar could be rebuilt and all the other schools could have the additions. So that was the intent of the administration at that time. The voters that I've spoken to in District 1, they voted for this because they understood it to be a tax levy for a certain amount of time, just like you take out a loan for a certain amount of time and that is paid off. As a follow-up to that conversation and being a voice for the people, I'm just going to relay what I have heard or been asked and told. If the schools want a new building or add on to a building, then they would need to take some of the same action that the previous administration did. It would have been nice to have seen a plan for a school to know that the $40 needed to continue. And the same question that I've been asking, the people have been asking, what was the savings? And there's no savings been shown. So with that said, as I understand it, I think think the people would feel better and keep their confidence in the government if we pass this resolution and get it on there. I don't know what the deadline is for election commission. There are a lot of things that we have to decide, but, we don't wanna rush the election commission or have a special election, so I think sooner than later, we should take action and get that done.
Commissioner Singleton.
This right here, I understand the debt, you know, I understand funding for the children, for the schools and everything. This isn't to fund anything other than that debt. So if we vote to have this on the election, we're not taking away any money from funding a school, from doing anything. This is to when the debt is paid, this goes away. If we don't do that, then we just keep giving the money. They can keep building, doing whatever they want. There's no end to it. And that's not what any of this says. This is to pay a debt. And when that debt is paid, then the next step needs to be taken then.
Anyone else? Commissioner?
Did a lot of thinking on this, just like all of y'all have, and what's done to me has made me drive deeper into some things and, you know, higher tax dollars come in and where they come from, and I've come up with some numbers that I should have heard when we voted on this, that I never did hear. I don't know how many of y'all know it, but there was also a sales tax referendum at the time you voted on this $40 wheel tax, is that correct?
We voted on a sales tax referendum more than once.
Yeah.
It's been voted
Yeah,
down.
It's been voted down. But never one time did I know that we are the second lowest sales tax in the state of Tennessee, second to Johnson City. And I don't know that, that brings me to my next point, because I have talked to a lot of people, just like you have, I hope. People don't mind paying wheel tax, but for me, if the commission had an intent for that to come off, then to me, you gotta keep your word to the people or you'll never get another one. So you gotta keep your word. Here's the second part of that, and putting that on a referendum. If everybody votes no, here's what's gonna be the result of that. The result of it is gonna be what everybody don't want. And the thing that everybody says, we don't want property tax, I don't mind that. So here, that brings me to two things. One is, I think we need to inform the public before anything is ever voted on. And I think that's our job, not to just put something on a referendum, but to say, hey, because if that comes off and they vote no, you're not gonna turn around and get it back. But if you're gonna put it out there, you need to let them know, at some point in time, there's gonna have to be money for schools, there's gonna have to be money for a jail, and guess where it's gonna go? It's gonna go on your land tax, it's gonna go on your property tax. So, my next point is this. It amazes me that we don't have a workshop, so we can sit around and talk about these options and things that we need to be thinking about, and looking at, digging deeper into our taxes, where they're coming from and where they're going. So, I would like to see us, before this is voted on, have a workshop, so that we can sit around and talk about these things. And, you know, because I'm having to learn things that's really amazing, you know. I don't know, my understanding, the school system gets about $100,000 a month from sales tax. Is that correct? Nobody, when I sit down and talk to people that vote in this county about some of this stuff, they're like, man, I'm glad you explained that, because I didn't know it. But I think we can do a better job of informing people what we're doing and why we're doing it and how it's going to affect them in the long run. We know it's inevitable, guys. We're going to do it today. I don't want that to interrupt school system. I don't want it to interrupt the education of our kids. So we don't need to wait to think about it in a meeting when we're going to have a discussion about what we're going to do. I feel like I like people to work in unity, and I think it'll look better, feel better, and we'll be more confident in our votes and have a lot less stress about our job whenever we sit down around the table and talk about it.
Thanks, sir. Anybody? Do I have a motion?
Make a motion that we, put resolution 2023-6 on the next voting cycle, which is what, 2024?
Yeah. I got a motion, got a second?
Second.
Got a second by Commissioner Jordan, any more discussion?
Mr. Chairman, clerk to read the original work downstairs of the amendment Mr. Gannon has presented. Reason for that is I kind of want to be sure of what commented about earlier. Observations were earlier. The copy that was presented, I look back at, and there portion up to the right that's kind of cut off, and there seems to be like a whited out portion that's filled in. So I think that's probably one of the clerk. That's one of them exactly what the word. I can't really read it. I can't tell whether it's that amendment actually taking away a portion of section 8 that originally made it 25 years, or if it's adding language for it to expire. Does that make sense, Mr. Gann? So I asked the clerk to retrieve the original from the minute. I would also like to inform the Commissioner, because we had no minutes in that time period, minutes were not kept. I don't know what the timing of that motion, what the timing procedurally, amendment, whether the final resolution was passed as amended by the amendment this evening. I can't really comment on that. It could go through. So I don't have any direction as to procedurally how that final resolution could have been amended, and then the unamended was passed. Finally, the amendment was indeed.
We gonna be to stall?
Could we take a break for
Well,
about 10 minutes?
We don't have a clerk with which to.
Planning told me to take roll.
Oh, I just, for the commission. You could certainly have a vote if Landon has.
All right. We got a motion and a second.
Take a vote.
To take a break?
Said take a vote.
If you can fill in for Mike, let's take a vote.
Call the roll, please.
Nathan Sanders,
Yes.
Karen Ashford,
No, I would like for us to do a workshop first.
Chris Singleton,
Yes.
Curtis George,
Yes.
Eddie Mears,
No.
Brent Brandon,
I think we can do a workshop and we still have time to get this hashed out, so no.
Randy Gannon,
I agree with the workshop, but the workshop would be where we're going forward. If there were to pass or not, or if we were to pass, this is for something that wasn't done right 25 years ago. Yes.
Chris Alexander. No. Tony Burnett,
No.
motion failed, 5-4.
I'll make a motion that we have a, maybe more than one before we put this on the ballot.
Second.
Mr. Chairman,
Okay, we'll take one from workshop.
Chairman,
Yes, sir.
question. What is the difference in this workshop we're gonna do as opposed to what the budget committee does?
I think we're all going to educate ourselves on all the aspects of this before we vote or put it on the ballot.
I mean, either way.
We've got
it-
time.
it
So the
sunsets in
agenda for that
2026.
workshop would be the $40 wheel tax, and that's it.
No,
Not
because there's a
necessarily.
lot of other things that feed into that.
Yeah,
I'm not, no, this is, everything's gonna get jumbled up. we don't just, we do a workshop, I agree, but it needs to be for this $40 wheel tax. Everybody wants to understand it, get it out on the table, really, whatever. It needs to be, for me, it needs to be for this $40 wheel tax.
I'm not
It was
opposed.
promised that it would come off, and I don't, it's proven, but I mean, we can get it clear, that's fine.
Commissioner Burnett?
My goal is to inform the people of what they need to know about the current system and what can happen. And what, I mean, they need to understand the structure, they need to know a lot more than what they know before they go vote on anything. I'm not opposed to the resolution, I'm opposed to the timing of the resolution. I think the workshop's necessary. There's just so many things I've learned, and I wish I'd known before I ever voted. And I want that to be the same for people in the 5th district, your district.
Davis. Got a motion second. Workshop. Now, surely we don't have to have a structure for this workshop.
It has to be posted in the paper, and if I'm not mistaken, it does have to have an agenda.
It must be posted in the paper, it must
In
have.
the agenda.
Parameters discussed, and no votes may be taken.
Yes, sir. Okay, we got a motion and a second. Call roll on that.
Nathan Sanders,
No.
Karen Ashford,
Yes.
Chris Singleton,
Yes.
Curtis George.
Yes.
Eddie Mears,
Yes?
Brent Brandon,
I think we still have plenty of time, and yeah, yes, work.
Randy Gann,
I agree with Tony, I'm willing to learn something. Yeah.
Crystal Alexander. Yes. And Tony Burnett.
Yes.
Motion passed 9-8.
Y'all want me to put this together?
Yes, at the time, everybody be.
I'll be in contact with you. We'll get one together.
Well, this would probably be the first workshop that commissioners have legally done.
Legally done? We
Yeah.
can workshop.
All right, here we go. You know, I would ask the commission, I'm gonna ask you a favor. If you would, for just a moment. Lisa Luck is here. And she traveled good ways, to come be with us about solid waste regional, 10-year regional. She's down on number 13, and I'm sure she's got a lot further to drive than any of us. Would y'all mind? Come on. Thank you. Thank you, Lisa, for being here. Thank you for your patience.
Okay, I'm Lisa Luck. I work for the Upper Cumberland Development District, and since 2015, I have been writing the annual progress report for Cannon County. This is a report that we submit every year to the Tennessee Department of Environment and Conservation. And basically, this report tells them what we're doing as far as solid waste in Cannon County. We tell them how much waste we generated, we tell them how much we recycled, we tell them how many employees work for the solid waste department. And so it is a bunch of facts that are all packed together and tell the story of solid waste for this particular year. And so I'm not going to go through all those numbers with you. I emailed that to you, and if you have an interest in seeing what the county did with solid waste, it is all there. But I am here tonight because I want to talk to you about your 10-year plan. The 10-year plan, it used to be that every 10 years, county solid waste committees would get together and they would talk about what are we going to do for the next 10 years to improve our solid waste system. They don't do that anymore. What they do is they update it every year. So when I started working in 2015, the main thing in our 10-year plan, or your 10-year plan, was that you had to fix that transfer station and convenience center because there was leachate running all out of the equipment. The equipment was aged, needed replacement. And so that was part of the 10-year plan. And over the years, you have improved that convenience center. And it is a really nice place to go. And you have contracted with a company to make sure that that always gets transported. Okay, so this year, what is going to go on the 10-year plan with your vote and your agreement is that we are going to improve the recycling that for residents in Cannon County. So what we want to do is behind the convenience center, there's already the location, the recycling has been done there, but we would like to improve so that we can collect more recyclables and manage more recyclables. So basically what I need from you is I need agreement to that is okay to be on the 10-year plan, and we're gonna have to start doing this every year to get your agreement. We haven't done it in the past, but that is a part of it now.
Thank you. Anybody have any questions?
Yeah, any questions about the plan or?
Lisa knows her stuff.
If it's garbage, I know.
She knows garbage.
Or you gonna need more?
Not necessarily, if we will not already, we have some equipment coming, don't we, Lisa, for, used oil. And we've already procured, the stuff for it. All we got to do is implement it and get it in there, and we'll start taking used oil.
And whatever a grant comes up, like, there hasn't been grants for 2 years. We haven't been able to apply for solid waste grants, but now they expect them to come up on a regular basis. And so with your permission, we'll continue applying for grants, and it's what, a 10% match, so that is not much. But it's something like pretty.
I'll enter, if nobody's got any questions, I'll entertain a motion to approve the solid waste regional plan.
Make a motion to approve.
Got a motion approved from Commissioner Burnett, that is second, anyone?
Second.
Second, by Commissioner Singleton. Tammy, if you would call the roll.
Here. Yes.
Curtis George.
Yes.
Eddie Mears.
Yes.
Brent Brandon.
Yes.
Randy Gannon.
Yes.
Crystal Alexander.
Yes.
Tony Burnett.
Yes.
Motion passed, 9-0.
Thank you so much, Lisa, look, it's helped us so much, it's like cramming for a test sometimes, ain't it?
But it's always
Thank you so much, Lisa, I appreciate you, coming and being, and helping us out. Thank you. We'll go to, number 11 is approve, health department grant. Diane, you gonna take the lead on that? Yeah.
I sent y'all an email about that. Anybody have any questions? I'll give you the estimates that Michael Rowling sent from the health department. $21,600, I think, to do, that would be the county's 25%. And we can pay for that out of capital projects. This right here, did I send, y'all have that, right?
Make a motion to approve the health department grant where the county contributes 25%, it's $21,605.50.
I got a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Second, who was it? Mr. Mears, any discussion? Dan, are you still in?
Here.
Thank you.
Yes.
Karen Ashford.
Yes.
Chris Singleton.
Yes.
Curtis George.
Yes.
Eddie Mears.
Yes.
Brent Brandon.
Yes.
Randy Gannon.
Yes.
Crystal Alexander.
Yes.
Tony Burnett.
Yes.
Motion passed, 9-0.
Thank y'all, I'm gonna leave it right with you. Okay,
So the next thing is the budget amendments, 13 and 14. Number 13 is the fire trucks the fire department sold for $14,677, and they're just going to use that money to buy some equipment.
Is this the one we approved to give back to certain ones?
Yeah, so I think it was, West Side sold a 1990 Spartan, Middletown sold a Freightliner, and Short Mountain sold a
Right.
Ford.
Motion to approve resolution BA 22/23-13.
Second.
Got a motion to approve, BA 22/23-13, and you just seconded it. Any discussion? All in favor, aye. All opposed.
And number 14 is the grant that the sheriff department received as a COVID grant. And you all got the entire grant in an email, but, first thing is probably in the back. They're gonna, I know for one thing, they're buying a body scanner, right? I'm not sure what else they're buying with it, but, they've got to June 30th to spend it. This is just putting it in the budget.
Motion to approve resolution BA 22/23-14.
Second.
Got a motion to approve BA 22/23-14, due to seconded.
Which is a
Any
grant for the
discussion?
sheriff department of $415,271.
Any discussion? All in favor, aye. All opposed.
Okay, and the last thing, I just want to let you know that this year's audit, we had 0 findings.
Yay.
So, really excited about that. And so I just want to give a shout out to the great people that work in the office, because without them, we would have had 2 findings. Last year we had, in fact, this year is the very first year that the county has not had findings. Last year we had one, but it was because I forgot to send a document to the comptroller's office, so we didn't really have any error, but anyway, so, yeah, just want to let y'all know.
Thank you,
that.
Diane. I recognize, Attorney Fagan.
Mr. Chairman, the clerk has returned with the original of the document that was presented to me this evening. Presented, the right-hand portion of that document that was presented to me this evening was cut off, where it looked like it said take on section 8, where it would expire in 25 years. The original document says amended, made a motion to take out section 8, where it would expire in 25 years. So the legislative intent of the commission on July 17th, 1999, to take out an expiration of 25 and not an expiration. The copy that was presented to me this evening was cut off to where OUT looked like ON. But it is actually to remove the section where it would expire in 25. I wanted to update the commission on that.
Thank you, Mr. Fagan. With no further business on the agenda, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
Got a motion to adjourn, got a second? Second, Commissioner George, all in favor, aye. All opposed.